The dragon embodies paradox, and in that aspect is a symbol for the earth itself and the order and mystery of the combinations of her forces. In the dragon is the embodiment of the light and dark aspects of the crazy thing that is life. It slips through death as it sheds its skin and continues life without harm. In it lives the duality of the contrary forces essential to cosmic stability theosophy, 1999. 2. The dragon personifies the duality of life found in the darkness and the light, the water and fire, the earth and the sky. 8. The water and the earth and life and death. The dragon is the symbol that represents conscious matter rising from chaos. 2036 marked the year of the dragon on the Chinese zodiac cycle. It also marked the start of the outbreak of what would come to be called dragon flu. 2036, the beginning of the dragon flu. They say it started somewhere just outside of Beijing. Wherever it started, it didn't take long to spread. The beginning was chaos incarnate as everything progressed quickly. The People's Republic of China immediately issued a warning to the international community. Beijing quickly sealed its borders, preventing outside visitors and establishing a de facto quarantine. Despite this drastic measure and clear warning, neighboring nations marginalized the event and took no immediate action. The U.S. took little notice until a Japanese jetliner was shot down as it took off from Hong Kong airport name en route to Moscow. Original reports blamed the Chinese for shooting down the plane. It was another 36 hours before the plane's true demise was discovered. A member from within the Kremlin leaked to the international media that the Russians had fired a cruise missile down the plane before it could cross into Russian airspace. So unlike the rest of the world community, the Russians weren't taking any chances. Despite the demise of the KGB, after the fall of the Soviet Union, Russia had quietly been building its Human Intelligence Bureau. A lethal group of Russian spies, the FSB, reached notoriety following the 2006 polonium poisoning of a former KGB operative in London. Since 2006, there have been several high-profile assassination attempts linked to the FSB, to include their notable actions during the Russo-Ukrainian War. It seems the KGB died only in name. The FSB had real power, and they knew the threat that the world was now facing. Their foresight, although accurate, did not pay off. The outcry from the media following the crash prompted Russia to send in a team of communicable disease workers to help out the Chinese. Within 72 hours, 11 members of the 12-person team were dead. Hours after first landing in Beijing, the first members of the team were bedridden. The rest of the team continued their analysis with increased caution. By the second day, 4 were dead and 7 more bedridden. Nikolai Serebryakov, the assistant team leader, fled Beijing on the second day for southern China. Nikolai was no stranger to a pandemic. In his early years, he had worked with an American doctor in Zaire during the Ebola breakout. His research later brought him to Turkey in 2009 when bird flu killed 2 million people in southern Europe and the Middle East. He was the top scientist in Asia during the COVID-19 pandemic. Nikolai, despite his history with plague and disease, had seen something that scared him. Nikolai got the fuck out of Dodge. As I read the story of Nikolai's disappearance and the demise of his team in the New York Times, May 11th issue, I could already feel the growing panic. Front page or lead story, the situation in China was the focus of every media outlet. I was sitting at a small coffee shop in the corner reading my paper, as a number of other patrons were doing that morning. Just as I was flipping from the front page to page 23 for the continuation, a young lady rushed through the door wearing a uniform from the bookstore halfway down the block. Stacy, you've got to turn the TV on," she said, panting. "Why? What happened?" The barista behind the counter had a look of confusion, caramel macchiato still in hand. She stared at the bookstore worker, and after an uncomfortable pause, she rounded the counter and pointed. A remote at a television mounted on the opposite wall. The music video, playing some light alternative music with a goatee-wearing guitarist, was replaced, with a screen displaying ESPN with the normal sports scores ticking across the bottom. But instead of SportsCenter, there was live news coverage spilling across the set. Early indications are pointing towards a mid to high-yield hydrogen bomb. The bomb was detonated with an estimated epicenter in downtown Shanghai. Early satellite footage coming into us now shows that Shanghai has been virtually vaporized. These images are being provided to us by the Russian media, but the event has been confirmed by U.S. officials. Oh my God, came a voice from my left. The government of China issued a warning prior to the detonation, and I would like to stress to all of our viewers that this was not an act of terrorism. The government of China did in fact detonate this bomb. I repeat, the government of China has detonated a nuclear bomb in Shanghai at approximately 6:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. The Republic of China issued a statement to the press and major international governments. The statement was a warning stating that the situation in Shanghai had deteriorated out of their control, and in an effort to prevent the further spread of the plague and ultimately save lives, they would be detonating one of their nuclear weapons in Shanghai. This appears to be a desperate attempt to stop the spread of the disease and cauterize the infection. I glanced around the room. Everyone had set their papers or tablets down, and all focus was locked on the television.